Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos. So this is currently your Liverpool versus Tottenham Champions League preview, of course, Saturday evening, 8 o'clock kick-off in Madrid. And it's going to be a very, very good game indeed. Obviously looking at Liverpool, of course, are going to be the favourites. Obviously, Liverpool are going for their sixth Champions League, of course. Liverpool have already won 5. Obviously, the last time Liverpool won the Champions League, obviously, was back in 2005 against AC Milan. Obviously, they haven't won it since then. Obviously, this is also Liverpool's second final in 2 years. Obviously, Liverpool progressed to the Champions League final last season. Obviously, losing to Real Madrid by 3-1. And obviously, this is Tottenham's first ever Champions League final. So, it's going to be a great night for Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. Obviously, they could become the first team in North London, to win the Champions League, Tottenham. So it's going to be a very, very interesting indeed. Obviously, it is all an English final for the first time since 2008. Of course, obviously, that was Manchester United and Chelsea. Obviously, we won that game on penalties against Chelsea. So obviously, we won the Champions League, back in 2008. So potentially, how both teams have progressed to this final. Of course, obviously, Liverpool, getting past the likes of Bayern Munich, getting past the likes of Porto, quite very, very comfortably against Porto, winning 6-1 on aggregate, of course, over 2 legs, and of course, getting past Barcelona as well. How Tottenham progressed to the final, obviously, they got past the likes of Borussia Dortmund. They also got past Manchester City, and of course, got past Ajax. But like I said, going back to them Champions League semi-finals, they were absolutely fantastic indeed. It was amazing what Tottenham did, and it was also fantastic, of course, what Liverpool did. And you can say what Liverpool did, that is one of their greatest comebacks, in their history, basically. One of their greatest comebacks, especially in Europe, of course, because obviously, Liverpool were 3-0 down from the first leg against Barcelona. Obviously, and it looks like Liverpool, were dead and buried, from the first leg. Even though I don't think Liverpool deserved to lose 3-0, from that first leg, of course, because I thought Liverpool played really, really well. They had the chances in that game, and I do think, they were really, really unlucky indeed. Obviously, the goals in that game, Messi got 2. Obviously, Luis Suarez scored in that game. So I thought Liverpool were very, very lucky from the first leg. But then, obviously, Liverpool beat them 4-0 in the second leg, coming back from a 3-goal deficit, and fair play to Liverpool in that second leg. It was absolutely fantastic what they did. Obviously, Dico Origi scored twice in that game. Obviously, Wijnaldum scored twice in that game. I think he scored in space of 2 minutes because obviously, Andrew Robertson, of course, went off injured in the game, and obviously, Wijnaldum came on in that game. But Liverpool, were absolutely fantastic in that game, and they deserved to be in the Champions League final. And it was good what Tottenham did against Ajax. It was fantastic. What currently Tottenham did. Obviously, Tottenham were 1-0 down there from the first leg against Ajax. Obviously, and then in the second leg, they were basically 2-0 down on night. So you could say that obviously, they were 3-0 down. Obviously, Lucas Moura getting a hat-trick for Tottenham, of course. And I think Lucas Moura, has become an integral part of Tottenham's team. He's done, really, really well. I think Tottenham, got him back in January 2018. I think actually, that was Tottenham's last signing. So basically, Tottenham have not done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. So basically, Mauricio Pochettino has made it clear if he isn't backed in this summer transfer window, he has actually threatened to resign as Tottenham manager because obviously he wants to invest this summer. Like I said, they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows. Obviously, Tottenham's record signing is obviously Davinson Sanchez, who they paid around £42 million for Ajax a couple of years ago. But yeah, you never know on the night, and Tottenham could potentially do this. So give you a bit of team news going into the game. I think it still remains uncertain whether Kane is going to be playing. Obviously, Kane didn't play against Ajax, of course, in the second leg. Obviously, he's been out with an ankle injury as Harry Kane. Actually, as well, Liverpool didn't have Salah and Firmino in the second leg against Barcelona. Obviously, their 2 main players who scores a lot of their goals, of course. I think, obviously, Salah now is okay. So, obviously, he's going to be, obviously, playing. Firmino, I think it does say Firmino is doubtful for Liverpool. So, he may not be playing. Naby Keita, I think it did say in the media, he remains a doubt, does Naby Keita. Obviously, he came off injured in the semi-final first leg against Barcelona. So these are quite a few injuries. But I think, Harry Kane's, he's still uncertain about Harry Kane at the moment. But potentially, analysing it throughout the course of this season, Liverpool have done really, really well indeed. Basically, they was unlucky, not to win the Premier League. They only lost one game all season, did Liverpool, as I said. But, and Tottenham done pretty well, this season, of course, and it's good for them, to get to their first ever Champions League final. Obviously, either way, Tottenham have got Champions League football secured for next season. But obviously, Mauricio Pochettino and Jurgen Klopp have not won a major honour at their respective clubs, of course. So, this obviously, whoever wins it's going to be their first major honour, of course, because Jurgen Klopp obviously hasn't won out yet as Liverpool manager. Obviously, Mauricio Pochettino hasn't won out major yet as a current manager. But I think, Mauricio Pochettino, he's still a very, very good manager, even though he hasn't won out in terms of silver. I think he's done really, really well with Tottenham. Obviously, as I said, he's been there 5 years. Obviously, going back, was it earlier on last season, of course, he was obviously, linked with the Manchester United. He was linked with a managerial role at Old Trafford, of course, because obviously at the time when we sat Mourinho, Manchester United, were interested in recommending Pochettino to come in. Obviously, he was our number one candidate, was Mauricio Pochettino. But like I said at the time, I just didn't think he had any intentions of leaving Tottenham. But he did say if he's not back this summer, he could potentially resign from the Tottenham job. I think he's set to all negotiations with Daniel Levy, about Daniel Levy's plans for the future and all that. But like I said, Tottenham, have had quite a few injuries, throughout the course of this season, throughout the course of last season. Of course, they had I think Kane has sustained quite a few injuries. I think Dele Alli had sustained quite a few injuries. That's obviously Tottenham's two main players, of course. But they have got good players. They've got the likes of Lucas Moura. I really, really like for Tottenham. He's a good player. I think that Heung-min Son is a really, really good player for Tottenham. Obviously, they've got the likes of Danny Rose and all that. They've got Jan Vertonghen, and Tottenham have got good players in their team. They've got Christian Eriksen. So Tottenham have got the quality in their team, to cause Liverpool problems. But in my opinion, I do think Liverpool are definitely going to have too much. But reflecting back on last season's final, I think Liverpool were really, really unlucky. I think two of Real Madrid's goals, were gifts, because obviously it was two mistakes from the goalkeeper, of course. And I think actually, Salah went off injured in last season's final in the first 20 minutes. So I think that's what basically cost Liverpool that final. But they haven't won the Champions League, like I said, since 2005 Liverpool. So I definitely think Liverpool are going to do it. Obviously, Liverpool would have been disappointed, of course, that they didn't win the league, because obviously they wanted to really win the league. Did Liverpool? Obviously, they haven't won it now for nearly 3 decades, of course. But they were just really, really unlucky, and looking at it throughout the course of last season, you can pinpoint the games where it cost Liverpool the league. That draw at Old Trafford, when the draw was 0-0. Obviously, Rashford, that will impact quite a few players went off injured in that game. I think Herrera went off injured in the game. Juan Mata went off injured in the game. I think Liverpool, one of their players went off injured, but Liverpool, failed to capitalise. So that's one game that's obviously cost them the title there. Obviously drawing at home to Leicester, that's another game that cost them the title. Dropping points at West Ham, that's another game that cost them the title. So they are pivotal games that Liverpool, of course, had currently dropped points, and I think that's what potentially cost them the title. But potentially Liverpool would have thought maybe Manchester City would have currently slipped up, but obviously Manchester City didn't slip up. Obviously, I think Liverpool's best hopes, obviously was that game at Old Trafford, Man United and Man City, of course. Maybe Liverpool would have thought Manchester United could have got something from Manchester City, of course, but in the end it was a comfortable win for Manchester City. Obviously, we do know Manchester City are definitely now the best team in England, of course, completing a historic treble. Manchester City, of course, win the Premier League, the Premier League, the Carabao Cup, and the FA Cup. Manchester City, so they've had a really, really good season. Obviously, Manchester City, matching my club's greatest achievement, from 1999. Obviously, it's a different treble. They've won all the English domestic trophies of Man City. Back in '99, we won the Champions League, Premier League, and of course FA Cup as well. And obviously, City, obviously, retained the title. Obviously, retain the title, for the first time since 2009. We were actually the last team to do it, before Manchester City did it, of course, this season to retain the league. And I think it's their second title in 2 years. Obviously, now they've won 4 Premier Leagues of Manchester City, of course, but they've still got a hell of a lot, titles to go, before they do currently catch up with Manchester United, of course, Manchester City. But yeah, like I said, it's going to be a really, really good Champions League final. As you did currently see, obviously, we do know that Chelsea are the Europa League champions. Obviously, beating Arsenal by 4 goals to 1. Obviously, Pedro scored in that game, Giroud scored in that game, and Eden Hazard scored twice in that game. And obviously, Arsenal's goal was Alex Iwobi. I think it's actually the first time ever that there has been it's all been English teams in the Europa League final and the Champions League final. I think that's the first time that's ever happened in the history of football, if I'm right. All English teams in the Europa League final and, the Champions League final. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. But yeah, Chelsea, won very, very comfortably against Arsenal. Actually, that game was 0-0 at half time, so it was looking likely, it could go either way. But potentially still looking very imminent. That Maurizio Sarri is still going to be leaving Chelsea. Of course, maybe Maurizio Sarri, from his own perspective, does believe that he should be able to stay now at Chelsea. Because obviously, they've won the Europa League and that. Obviously throughout the course of the season, though, quite a few Chelsea fans have been on Maurizio Sarri's back. Of course, obviously this is Maurizio Sarri's first major honour he has won as manager, and Chelsea, won the Europa League, but it's still looking like Maurizio Sarri is going. Obviously, Maurizio Sarri has been heavily linked with the Juventus job. Obviously, Masmile Allegri, I think, has stepped down, or he's going to step down as Juventus manager after 5 years in charge. So it's looking likely Maurizio Sarri is going to be making a return to Italy. But it hasn't been bad for Chelsea this season. It's only been Maurizio Sarri's first season, so maybe some people may say give him a bit more time, because obviously, he's won the Europa League with them now, got them to the Carabao Cup final, of course. Also, got them third place finish in the league. So obviously, initially, even if they hadn't won the Europa League, obviously they've had Champions League football secured for next season. But obviously, Chelsea have also got a transfer ban. Whether this transfer ban is overturned or not, I do not know. But I do know at the moment that they can't do any transfer activity in the next couple of windows. It did initially say that Chelsea had lost out on their appeal against FIFA's decision, to ban them from making any signings in the next couple of windows. And and it's looking likely Eden Hazard is going to be leaving Chelsea. There's some reports coming out saying that Real Madrid and Chelsea have agreed around a £115 million deal or something like that. So I think it does say an initial fee has been agreed of around £115 million. Initially, it did say Chelsea wanted around £100 million for Eden Hazard. Obviously, it's Zinedine Zidane's main priority target. Well, it's two main targets. So obviously, Eden Hazard and of course. Eden Hazard and of course Paul Pogba for Manchester United. But Eden Hazard's been a good servant to Chelsea. He's been there 7 years. I think he's made over 300 appearances in all competitions. And for me, definitely one of the best players in the Premier League. Quite a few times this season, Eden Hazard, should I say last season now, he was playing in that false number 9 position. But that's not Eden Hazard's preferred position. Is that false number 9. You mainly see the best of Eden Hazard on that left-hand side. Obviously, if Chelsea's transfer ban is not overturned, obviously they're not going to be able to find a replacement for Eden Hazard. But I really, really like Eden Hazard. I think Chelsea did try to convince him, to sign a new contract. I think Chelsea were willing to offer him around £300,000 a week, to try and convince him to sign a new deal. But obviously he turned this down. But obviously Chelsea want to cash in for him now, rather than letting go on a free transfer in the summer of 2020. But he has been a good servant to Chelsea Football Club. And like I said, a lot of people say he's overrated, but I definitely say he's the third best player in the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt. He's still 28 years of age, still got quite a lot of development in him as Eden Hazard, but he's had 7 years under his belt in the Premier League, of course, and so he's still looking very, very imminent that he's going, Eden Hazard. Obviously, it's when Zinedine Zidane, returned back to the Real Madrid job, after being 9 months, he had 9 months and being managerless, and then as soon as he stepped back into that Real Madrid job, then obviously, that persuaded Eden Hazard more, to currently make the move to Real Madrid. So yeah, it's looking like Eden Hazard is currently going to be leaving Chelsea. So hopefully somewhere along the line from a Chelsea perspective, they'll have to hope that their transfer ban can get overturned, so they can find a replacement for Eden Hazard. But yeah, they are the Europa League champions. But yeah, so it's still looking like Maurizio Sarri is going to be going to Juventus. Talking about, Frank Lampard, this is who Chelsea reportedly, do want to hire in. And obviously, they want him to return to the club as manager. He hasn't really got the managerial experience, as Frank Lampard, has he really? It's only been his first season in management with Derby. Obviously, he did progress them to the playoff final, did Frank Lampard. Obviously, he does know the culture of Chelsea. He does know the culture of Chelsea Football Club. Does obviously Frank Lampard. Obviously, played for them for 13 years. Obviously, their all-time leading goal scorer. He is. I think he scored about 211 goals in all competitions for Chelsea in his 13-year period there, and he did really, really well indeed. So I think the Chelsea board, and I think a lot of Chelsea fans, would like to see him, get recommended to come in, Frank Lampard. So it's still looking likely that Maurizio Sarri is currently going to be going. It's not fully guaranteed yet. I think, Maurizio Sarri is set to hold talks about his current future. But yeah, it's still looking likely, Sarri is currently going to be leaving Chelsea. But yeah, so I think probably Liverpool are going to win this game against Tottenham. I'd probably say 2-1 to Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool beat them twice last season in the league. I think Liverpool beat them 2-1 twice. It was 2-1 at Anfield where Liverpool were lucky. It was also, 2-1 at Tottenham's ground. So yeah, I'd definitely say Liverpool are going to have too much for Tottenham. But you never know, do you? Obviously, this is a pivotal moment for Tottenham, of course, and they're going to really enjoy it as well. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe as always, and take care, God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching, guys.